Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive. And today we're looking into something really disturbing.
Yeah, this one's heavy.
It's from Anambra, Nigeria. And the article we've got is from VanguardNGR.com.
Okay.
And the headline is just brutal. Husband sets wife ablaze in Anambra over suspicion of infidelity. So,
Yeah.
yeah, right off the bat, we need to give a content warning.
Right.
We're dealing with domestic violence here and some very difficult themes. So listener discretion is advised.
Definitely. This is a tough one, but it's something we need to talk about. And sadly, this kind of incident isn't as uncommon as we'd like to think. You know what really gets me about this story is how it ties into some of the cultural norms you see in Nigeria.
Right. So let's just lay out the facts first.
Mhm.
What do we actually know about this case?
Okay.
The article says a husband in Anambra suspected his wife was cheating on him, and his reaction was to allegedly set her on fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's awful. The details are pretty scarce at this point, but it does say the police are involved.
That's at least something.
It is. But there's no mention of the woman's condition, which is just terrifying to even think about.
Absolutely. And to really grasp the weight of this alleged act, we need to talk about how fidelity is seen in some Nigerian cultures. It's not just about personal betrayal.
Right?
It's tied to a woman's value and honor in the community. It's like this historical legacy influenced by traditional beliefs and even some religious interpretations,
Right.
where a woman being faithful is seen as the foundation of family and society.
So you're saying it's not just a personal issue, it affects the whole community.
Exactly.
But how widespread is this view? I mean, does everyone in Nigeria see it this way?
Well, that's a good question. You know, Nigeria is a diverse country
Okay.
with many different ethnic groups and social dynamics that are constantly evolving.
Right.
But the idea that if a woman is unfaithful, it brings shame on her family, that's a pretty pervasive idea. You hear it in proverbs and stories, even in some educational materials.
Wow.
It's this deeply ingrained belief that can, and this is where it gets truly tragic, lead to situations where violence is seen as some twisted form of justice or control.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
So in cases like this, what recourse do women actually have in the legal system? What kind of protections are there?
Nigeria does have laws against domestic violence. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act was passed in 2015,
Okay.
and this law makes various forms of abuse illegal. Physical, sexual, emotional violence. It's all covered.
So that sounds promising.
It is.
Right.
But the problem often comes down to enforcement and how it's implemented. Societal pressure can prevent women from reporting abuse in the first place.
Yeah, I can see that.
And even when cases are brought to court, getting a conviction can be really tough. There's a lack of resources for investigating and prosecuting these crimes. And sometimes there's just a reluctance to challenge those traditional norms we talked about.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah.
So if someone suspects abuse is happening, what can they do? What resources are even available?
Well, I think awareness is the first crucial step, recognizing the signs. And it's not always physical abuse, you know?
Yeah.
It could be isolation, controlling finances, constantly putting someone down. These are all red flags. And then reaching out is so important, either directly to the victim or to organizations that support survivors of domestic violence. I can't mention specific organizations here,
Sure.
but I can tell you there are groups out there working tirelessly to provide shelter, legal aid counseling, you name it. They're also pushing for stronger legal protections and challenging those harmful cultural norms.
It sounds like it has to be a multi-pronged approach.
Hmm.
Legal changes are crucial, but so is tackling those deeply ingrained beliefs.
Absolutely.
This case in Anambra is a heartbreaking example of the kind of violence women can face. And it's not just a problem in Nigeria. It's a global issue.
You're absolutely right. And connecting this specific incident to the bigger picture just shows how urgently we need awareness, education, and systemic change. Challenging these harmful norms and giving women the power to protect themselves. That's not just about protecting individuals, it's about building a fairer and more just society for everyone.
This has been a heavy, deep dive. There's no way around that. But it's also opened up a really important conversation. So as we wrap up, here's a final thought for you. How can we each of us and within our own communities help create a culture where women are safe and respected?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It's a question we all need to wrestle with. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.